Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. You know, we get a lot of complaints that Arty are not propelled, they don't move about, and as a consequence they just sit at the back and fire at the enemy all the time and rarely do anything in the game. Well, this replay proves that no, we don't do that. We're actually quite mobile. You're looking at the AMX 13F3AM, which is the Tier 6 French SPG. And oh, well, I just banged into a Jagdpanzer 4, and it's under my command on the south spawn of Pearl River. Now I've got a 115mm howitzer mounted on an AMX 13-ton tank, and it's actually fairly good Arty because it's got the capability of doing 700 alpha and has a penetration 39mm with a burst radius of 8 meters. Okay, I'm aiming at the enemy. And you can see I'm aiming for that alleyway where there's nearly always an enemy tank that comes up there trying to take the village, because from the village you can shoot just about, well, 3/4 of the map. So I'm waiting for somebody to turn up on that corner. We've got a T-34-100 constructor sitting at our corner waiting for somebody to arrive. And it's a Panther. My first shot goes in, 234 hit points, which is a non-penetrating shot, but the guy did get stunned and he's moved behind the rocks so the constructor can't fire at him, but in fact actually he is taking fire, and looks like he's taken another round from one of our M44s, and he's just been derped by a KV2 as well. He was lucky to get away with that. I'm just about to shoot my next round in. I fire it in, but unfortunately it hits the rock face and I only get a bit of stun. He tries to get into the village. Doesn't get very far though. Yep, the kill goes to the constructor. But we've got a Bretagne Panther, the Baguette Panther you might say, and he's just at the other end of that road as well. Now he's basically nothing more than the VK3002M. I find my round in it. He's very lucky because the round shoots over the top of him and actually goes landing behind him. And oh, very unlucky because the M44s take him out of the game. Well, on this side of the battlefield, we're not doing so well. We've got an OI and the T29, kind of bottled up actually, because they've got a KV2 to one side, a KV1S and an SU100 the other side, and they're both fairly badly damaged. I've got no shot on the KV1S from one direction. I fire a round in, it goes long again and explodes harmlessly behind the SU100, and we lose both heavy tanks, which means that alleyway is now free to move for our guys, and I got no shots, and I'm looking around. Yeah, unfortunately those buildings just in front of me are in the way now. I can't depress my gun enough to actually get shots, so I'm going to move to a new firing position, not too far away. I'm not going to go where the M44s are because they're actually too close together. You see that they're actually right alongside each other. Easy enough for a bombardier medal for the enemy Arty if he's paying attention. And lo and behold, a KV2's turned up at that gap. He's filtered off from the main alleyway and he's now coming round this way. I fire a round in, and just as my shell arrives, a shot goes in from our own Dicker Max, takes him out of the game. So I'm still missing my first kill of the game, and I'm looking for another enemy. It's the SU100 for him to come down that alleyway, but no, he's not in sight. And I suspect that the enemy tanks actually did turn down that way, and they've gone the same place that the other KV2 did. And all of a sudden our cap went off, and yes, there's a Super Hellcat, and I did spot him earlier, and it looks like he's heading towards us. The Arty looks like he fancies himself a Pescucci's medal. And I fired my round in, and I'm in reload, but I can see the Super Hellcat's the other side of the rock face. Now, I could turn around and try and go the other way. Unfortunately, he's just taken out one of our M44 because they were just too close together. The other M44 is getting ready. I'm almost loaded. I'm going to come up behind the Super Hellcat if I can and try and take him by surprise. But he actually went behind the M44 after putting a round into him. I lock on and shoot him in the ass. And he's out the game. Saved my M44, but I realise they've got to do something special if we're going to win this game. It's 7-all now. There's a chance for an AMX 13F3AM, and oh, that's the enemy Arty trying to get me to save the game and win the battle for our team. So guns up and we're on the way. Now this is very unusual behaviour. I know not a lot of Arty will do this, but I will. And I know some of you in what Arty Noobs do as well. Doesn't necessarily mean because you're an Arty you have to sit at the back, especially if you're in a very mobile Arty like this one, which is based on a light tank. And a fairly fast light tank at that. I'll do 60 kilometers an hour forwards, 14 backwards. And despite the fact from where I am I could actually stop and shoot at the VK2801, I'm going to let the KV2 go on our cap area whilst I head for the enemy cap area. You can see there's an Achilles, he's just found an M44. Now I could stop and shoot from here, but no, I'm going to get as close to the cap area as I can. Because obviously what we're going to do is we're going to force this battle to an end quickly. The M44 has just been taken out by the Achilles, and I'm headed for the cap area. The Achilles is badly, well, he's only got 68% of his health left, but he's about to lose a lot of that because there's a box tank and he just whacks our Achilles for a huge amount of hit points. So what do? I lock on and... yep, night night, box tank's gone. The Achilles thought he had that Achilles, the box tank thought he had the Achilles straight dead, no problem. But of course he didn't reckon on a 155mm howitzer shooting up his ass. So that's the second tank I've shotgunned today, or rather killed today by shooting him in the ass. And I'm now going to sit in the gap and force this matter. There's only 3 enemies left, 2 heavy tanks, and the other, yes, the enemy just lost their Dicamax. So it's just the 2 heavy tanks left, the KV2 and the KV1S. And there's the KV2. Can I get a shot on him? Just looking. Yeah, I can see the outline. I fire around in saying, well, could I? No, I can't actually. The trajectory of this Arty is too flat for me to get a shot on that tank. And the KV1S has appeared, but we're going to force this one to a conclusion rather rapidly. Not going to let them get back to the cap. And that's it. They just didn't reckon on there being an Arty who could traverse the battlefield and win the game for his team. Okay, so the battle was over fairly quickly, and yep, just have a quick look at the results. Only a 3rd class tanker and a bruiser medal, nothing special, and the win 8 was only 905 because I didn't do a lot of damage in that game. I did get 2 kills. I saved one of my teammates in the RT by shotgunning that Super Hellcat who went by the name of Dilu. Should be Dildo actually, but yes, okay, less said about that the better. The box tank, of course, didn't reckon on he was going to get shot in the ass. He thought he was going to have an Achilles for breakfast. Nope, I denied. And yeah, we won the game. So I didn't do a huge amount of damage. You can see only 612, which puts me mid-table. I did get 2 kills, which actually puts me in the top 5 of the team. And when it came to base XP, again, I'm in top 5. But it was more to do with the fact that I actually did manage to think on my feet and move to save my team. And of course I couldn't save one of the M44s because they were just too close together, and of course that Super Hellcat's got a 90mm gun. He was going to have them very, very easily. At least he was going to have one of them, and I couldn't just turn around and shotgun the guy right in the face. He would have targeted me straight away because he would have realized, yep. But I was actually not loaded at the time that I had to confront him. So I had to go around the rock and come up behind him in the hope that I would catch him still sitting on the edge there with a loaded gun and then shoot him right up the posterior. But he'd already moved by that time. But I still managed to get the better of him and shotgun him and save my M44. So yes, Arty, we do move, we do propel ourselves, Klaus. Yeah, I know you've ranted on enough that Arty don't propel themselves, but P is for propelled, and yes, I do propel myself, and yet you can see there I did help the Achilles to win the battle with the team, and yeah, it was a fairly quick battle. I thought it was successful. Yeah, if you like that short replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.